everybody, Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. Battle report number 46 is another 5K game. 'Tis I, Lord Tremendous of the Ogre Cons, versus the beardless beardling of the Dwarven Holds. This is my usual Dwarven Holds opponent, and we kick the crap out of each other, and this is actually a lot of fun. So sit back, relax, and get ready to see how this one goes. Here's my list, and there has been a few changes. For instance, I now have a Great Khan. I haven't named him yet. I was thinking Berserk. I'm not sure yet. He's my general. He's got the Kingslayer, Hardened Shield, Talisman of Greater Shielding, and the Charm of Cursed Iron. He's going to go into my unit of 12 by Tribesmen, the good old boys, and just to give them more defense with the Cursed Iron, the Charm of Cursed Iron, and of course do a little bit more damage in close combat at higher strength than just Strength 4. See how it goes. I might keep him, I might not. Next up, I have my Shaman, Skaven and AC. I gave him 3 extra spells for a total of 4. He's got the Demon Heart, and he uses Shamanism. Naked and dangerous. That's the way I like Skaz. Next up, I have my Khan. He's my BSB. He's got the Axebreaker Gauntlets, Dragon Mantle, Talisman of Shielding, and Spine Splitter. And then I still have my Mammoth Hunter, who is now, once again, Lord Tremendous. He's got the Ogre Crossbow, Razor Blade, Armor of Fortune, Arok's Charm, damn it, Lucky Charm, and he's got the big name Headhunter, and he is back on his Tusker, the War Teddy. Yeah, the Rock just wasn't working out, so I put him back on his Tusker. I don't know, I don't see any reason to change anything up or move anything around. It just really kind of comes down whether or not to keep the Great Khan. But yes, he's back, and he's in his original form. Next up, I have my core choices, which I think are pretty much the same. Still 12 by Tribesmen, the good old boys. They've got a full command, and then they've got Iron Fists and the Banner of Discipline. Yeah, no change at all in core. I've got a second unit of 5 Tribesmen, Spazzes, with a Banner and Iron Fists. And then we go into my special choices. Of course, I still have my Saber-Toothed Tiger, the Bow Wowzer. I still have my 6 by unit of Scrappling Trappers, my favored pets. And then I've got my 5 by Mercenary Veterans, the Corpulent Bastards, with Banner, Musician, Iron Fists, Lethal Strike, Bodyguard, and the War Standard. This unit still devastates my opponents when they get into combat. In the Powder Keg category, I have the exact same, well, I have the same 2 units. One of the units has changed. I have my Thunder Cannon of Doom, of course. And then I've got 5 Bombardiers now with Banner, Musician, and the Flaming Standard. I thought maybe a 3 by unit of Bombardiers wasn't that great, so if I put a couple more in and gave them flaming shots, it might help. I'm trying to give these guys every advantage I can, because I really like these models, but I don't know if I like the unit. So I'm trying here. I'm trying. Last but not least, my Chained Beasts category. My Frost Mammoth, Rufus. He's got a couple of Ogre Crossbows on the guys he totes around, but yeah, he's the one that melts faces. Absolutely love this monster, and he's not coming out of the list. That's going to do it for my list. I'm going to post my opponents, play some music. Feel free to pause whenever you'd like to see what he took. Here are my spells, which are exactly what you're looking at. I finally got cards, by the way. Did you notice? I bet you didn't. And here's deployment. So, my opponent placed first, and he just threw all of his stuff up there. Like I said, he's got his two big horde bricks. There we go, words. To the right there in the center, behind them is a anvil of power, and yeah, he's got big, scary, combat-y characters in each of those blender bricks he's got up there. And I'm pretty sure at least one of them's stubborn, if not both. So I have my work cut out for me there. Then he's got some handgunner teams to the right of that hill ruins in the top middle there, middle of his deployment zone. Next to him is a Vengeance Seeker, and then on the hill ruins thing is organ gun, a flame cannon, a catapult, and an engineer. So yeah, he's got two big, super scary combat bricks, three devastating war machines with an engineer to back them up, and some handgunners just to fill in the blanks. And he took a Vengeance Seeker just to, I don't know, piss me off. I have no idea. So in return, I have the 5x Bombardiers. Their job is going to shoot at the Vengeance Seeker as well as the handgunners. I'm hoping just the volley of lead they're throwing his way is enough to kill them. If not, I've got Lord Tremendous on the Tusker to fire forward, absorb some shots, and hopefully take the handgunners and or the Vengeance Seeker out, whatever comes first. Then, of course, the good old boys, Rufus and Skaz, as well as my Merc Vets, are all going to shoot up and try to just take out the Dwarf combat bricks as quick as possible. My cannon's going to shoot at his war machines and hopefully take some of them out. And that was my plan. That's deployment. So here we go. Here's top of one after movement, and not a whole lot. It's dwarves; they don't move all that fast, unless they want to. So really, he just moved his big combat bricks up literally like 3 inches, not very far at all. I think the handgunners moved up just so that they'd be in range. The Vengeance Seeker, honestly, I think he forgot about and just kind of left him where he was. And of course, the Anvil as well as his war machines didn't need to move whatsoever. So that's it for movement. Nothing really happens in Magic. I think he gets gleaming off on one of his units, but who cares? I won't see him in combat. In shooting, though, his catapult tries to fire at my good old boys and misfires 6. And ends up taking just 1 wound with no saves or any kind allowed, which much better than what it could have been. Then I believe it's his flamethrower gun or whatever fires at the good old boys and does 2 wounds to the unit. He would have done more, but thanks to the Charm of Cursed Iron, I actually saved a wound or 2, which was huge. So yeah, that 30-point item is already paying for itself. And then his handgunners, thanks to move, long range, and all that noise, fire at the tribesmen and are able to slip that last wound through and kill just one of the tribesmen. He gets the straggler. I'm lucky my opponent rolled really low. That could have been a lot worse. So with no combat, we go over here to bottom of 1 after movement, and as you can see, I do the ogre thing, and I thunder forward. Lord Tremendous goes up his full 16 inches and is like, I don't know if I'm going to charge the war machines, I don't know if I'm going to choose the handgunners, I know the Vengeance Seeker can't get a hold of me because his angle's all wrong, so I'm feeling pretty good about his positioning right now. He's going to soak up some shots, but provided he doesn't die, life is good. My trappers move up. They were kind of off to the side. I just missed them because I need to paint my stuff, or have my stuff painted anyway. The Bombardiers moved up their 6 inches to fire at the handgunners because currently the Vengeance Seeker just isn't a threat. Of course, the good old boys, Skaz and Espazzes, and Bow Wowzer move up decently, as well as the Corpulent Bastards, while Rufus moves up just 6 inches in order to fire at whatever the hell I feel like firing at. My Thunder Cannon stays perfectly still, and that's it for movement. So we go over here to the magic phase, and I get Cheapskate back on the table. I got it off, and he runs up to go deal with that flame cannon, because if you don't know, at short range, which is 12 inches or so, the flame cannon does strength 5, multiple wounds, D3 with all of its shots. I need to kill that thing before I get too close to it, especially with a unit like the good old boys on the table. Just to throw a little wrench in his works here, I get, what's it called? Break the Spirit off on his unit of Kingsguard. The idea here is I know it's not going to hurt him with the -1 to hit. However, the DT2 test he'd have to take for the entire unit if he goes faster than 3 inches is huge. And I like controlling my opponent's movement phase. So I get that off, and I'm feeling like I've got a nice little buffer on that unit now. Very excited about that. Then in order to pull out some Dispel dice, I try to throw Frenzy on Skaz and Spaz's unit. Just why not? Figure it might be a good way to get his Dispel dice off so I could try to get another Cheapskate on the table. But my opponent wasn't buying my BS. Let me have Dispel and then stop Cheapskate 2 from coming on the table. I tried. I'm a bad person. In the shooting phase, my Thunder Cannon fires at his Flame Cannon, hits, wounds, and does 2 wounds. I'll take it. I'll take it. Hey, that thing is 2/5, I think, closer to being dead than it was a minute ago, and I'm feeling just fine about that. And then Cheapskate just throws his halitosis all over it and is able to slap 1 more wound through onto it. Not enough to kill it or anything like that, but he does bring it 1 step closer. And the fact that I can use his breath weapon is super exciting. So that's all that happens, though. I don't kill it. So with still no combat, we go over here to top of 2 after movement, and my opponent does not move towards me at all. His Kingsguard unit backs up an inch or 2 because he was very worried about the DT checks. The Greybeard unit backs up their full movement or whatever they do. What's it called? Handgunners and Vengeance Seeker. The handgunners stay where they are. The Vengeance Seeker runs out in front of Tremendous in the hopes of stopping him from charging handgunners, which, yes, it's going to stop him from charging handgunners, but it isn't going to stop him from charging the organ gun, and I'm fine with that. So he made my decision for me. I can live with that. Other than that, though, there's absolutely no movement. Nothing happens in Magic other than I think his Greybeard unit getting Reckoning and Oaths, and I think maybe his Kingsguard unit also got Reckoning or something like that. Who cares? I'm not going to see them in combat. I have no intention of doing anything with them in combat, so whatever. But we go into shooting, and the combined fire from his organ gun and his flame cannon killed 2 tribesmen. It would have been more, but again, the Charm of Cursed Iron is saving my butt. I'm rolling my 5s, what can I tell you? And that item alone tells me I need to have at least a con in there with the Charm of Cursed Iron in order to just mitigate the War Machine damage that's going to be thrown at that unit. So we'll see. We'll see if he stays as a great con or not. I haven't decided. Nothing else happens. I either make my saves or he misses. So we go into bottom of 2 after movement. And there's some charges. My BSB and Merc Vets go into the Greybeards. And I'm feeling pretty confident about that particular charge. I think that I can do some serious damage there. My Merc Vets and my BSB are untouched. They go faster than these guys. And I move Rufus up 12 inches in order to get in the way. I also move Bow Wowzer up in front of his Kingsguard. And the hope there is to get Frenzy off on him and break the Spirit. And if I can do that, that unit is going to possibly charge Bow Wowzer and then take DTs for that. And then when they kill Bow Wowzer, they overrun and take DTs from that. So with a little luck, I can kill a whole bunch of his models before I even see combat with them, all at the expense of my Saber-Tooth Tiger, which that's what Bow Wowzer is for, and he understands that. I keep Rufus over to the right, as well as Skaven and AZ's unit with the Spazzes, and my good old boys, they kind of position themselves so that if the Kingsguard charge Bow Wowzer and have to overrun, if my plan goes according to plan, I'm able to countercharge and hopefully wipe that unit in a turn or 2 of combat, because I'll be able to throw a lot at him. The Bombardiers move up, as well as the Trappers, to shoot at the Handgunners and at his Vengeance Seeker, although I'm really not afraid of the Vengeance Seeker. I know he can gum up the works, which is exactly what my opponent wants to use him for. And Lord Tremendous goes into the Organ Gun, if I forgot to mention that. That is it for movement. Here's a better picture of my Corpulent Bastards and Khan making it into their, Greybeards. And there's a couple of characters in there. I think his BSB and maybe his Priest. I can't remember. And there's a better picture of Lord Tremendous slamming into the organ gun. And I hope that thing is dead. And yes, he passed his dangerous terrain checks. During the magic phase, I am able to get Savage Fury off on my opponent's King's Guard, which is huge. That is 50% of my plan so far going according to plan, which is, I didn't think I was going to get this far, so I'm thrilled that it's happening. Yeah, that's awesome. Getting that spell off, though, forced me to use Overwhelming Power, and I ended up miscasting 6 because of it. Luckily for me, I only used a few dice, and nothing, it wasn't a big deal. With 6 hits against these guys, nothing happened. My opponent rolled low, and no damage was taken. Nothing happens in the shooting phase, which irritates me. I think maybe my Bombardiers did a wound to the handgunners, and that's it. So we go into combat, and Lord Tremendous is able to do 4 wounds to his organ gun, but not enough to kill it. Just couldn't quite slip him through, and so it's stubborn, and it makes its check, and I'm stuck there for another round of combat. Damn it. At least it's not shooting, though. Then right here, I'm sorry I forgot to mention it, Cheapskate did run into the flame cannon. He did 1 wound to it in combat, but it didn't do anything back to him. Charge and wound, he loses by 2. He's stubborn and makes his check, no problem. But again, it's not going to shoot at me next turn. Then over here, this one actually, it was a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be. I had forgotten that my opponent got the -1 to hit spell off and everything. So when we get into combat, I was able to kill about 10 of these guys, which is still huge, but I lost almost 3 mercenary veterans because of it. I lost 2 and one's carrying 2 wounds. My opponent is steadfast and makes his check, but I may have bitten off a little bit more than I could chew here. May have underestimated the Greybeards. So with the first combat of the game over, we go here to top of 3 after movement. And there's not a ton. The King's Guard do charge a dog. I was able to get Frenzy off. I was not able to get Break the Spirit off, which sucks. But at least they're going to hit the dog, overrun, and hopefully be in an opportune position for me to countercharge and destroy them. But after what just happened with the Greybeards, I'm not so sure. I might have really screwed myself here. We'll see. His Vengeance Seeker moves in front of the Tribesman, which kind of sucks, but at the same time isn't really going to stop me from doing anything. Worst comes to worst, I charge my General out of the unit into the King's Guard to try to work down that fight. But that's really it. Everything else he has is dead in combat or handgunners and don't have to move. There's a better picture of his King's Guard running in a Bow Wowser. And yeah, I'm going to try to kill the unit champion, but that's going to be about it for the dog. During the magic phase, he gets, I think it's Gleaming off on this unit again, which stops my it makes it -1 to hit. And damn it, I was really trying. I stopped it with the 1, but both his Smith and his Anvil Power have it, so damn it. So we go into shooting, because magic phase is really over after that. And he tries to fire his catapult again and misfires 5. So it takes another wound with no saves of any kind allowed. So far, this catapult's really been on my team. So we go into combat, because shooting's over after that. Nothing else happens. And his King's Guard, lo and behold, have no problem destroying my dog. I think I'm able to kill his unit champion. I know I kill at least one of these guys. But yeah, Bow Wowser gets mulched. And that was always part of the plan. I just wish that these guys would take DTs because of it. Because he overruns a metric F-ton and gets almost into the Tribesman, which would have been really, really bad. As it sits, he's out of Rufus's charge arc, and the only people that can see him is Skaz and his Spazzes, which, yeah, the best laid plans, huh? I guess Skaz gonna die this game. In combat over here, Lord Tremendous is able to finish off the organ gun, which is excellent. Everyone passes their panic checks, which is unfortunate. And then Cheapskate is able to dismantle the flame cannon, which is absolutely out-flippin' standing. Then in this psychotic combat over here, it does not go well at all. I end up in a challenge with his BSB, my BSB, his BSB. I do a wound to him, he does a wound to me. 2 of my mercenary vets die, but like 6 or 7 his guys die. I stay, but the only reason I stay is because I have bodyguard in that unit. This combat is not going the way I thought it was going to go at all. So yeah, here's bottom of 3 after movement, and I go all in. Lord Tremendous, he had turned to face the Kingsguard unit after he beat the Organ Gun, because I realized I'm going to need to get him into that in order to make this game, or salvage this game in any way. Skaz and Spaz is going to the rear, because I'm never going to get a better shot at it than that, and my Great Khan charges out of his unit into that unit, goes right up toe-to-toe with his general, because I figure he's going to issue a challenge, and I'm going to accept it with my Great Khan, and hopefully I beat his general to death before he beats me to death. That's all I could do. I couldn't charge a tribesman past him and get into the Kingsguard. Not that I'm really sure I wanted to. So that's the best I can do at this current moment. We'll see what happens. Rufus charges in to try to help the Merc Vets out before they get eviscerated and just wiped off the damn table. My trappers don't move really because they don't need to, and the bombardiers move up to try to pick off the Vengeance Seeker. And that's really it for movement. This went from what I thought was going to be an easy victory to me grabbing at straws. Having a good time, though. That's what's important. There's a picture of Skaz, the Great Khan, and Lord Tremendous slamming into the Kingsguard, as well as Rufus slamming into the Greybeards. Hopefully I can turn this around. That's a lot of impact hits going around. And then, of course, during the compulsory movement phase, the Cheapskate runs into the Catapult. Whether he kills it or not is relevant. At least that stupid thing won't be shooting at me anymore. Cheapskate has been instrumental in stopping War Machine Hill from just eviscerating my army. And, of course, the Catapult misfiring twice. That was huge. Nothing happens during the magic phase. I roll like 3 for the magic phase. So we go into shooting, and my cannon fires at the Vengeance Seeker and kills him dead. I don't know why I didn't do that before, but yeah, he was right there, right on top of him. My Thunder Cannon's on a hill, hit, wound, dead. I don't know what the hell I was waiting on, but at least he's dealt with now. Then my Trappers and my Bombardiers fire at the Handgunner unit and kill 4, maybe 5 of them, which... Okay, so that's 1 kill per, like, 1 Bombardier. It's really underwhelming, but I'm glad they did it. I don't know. What's awesome about that, though, is it forces the panic check, which he fails. His BSB is out of range, and he flees literally 2 inches, 2 or 3 inches towards the ruins. He's actually on the ruins. I think he loses 1 from DT checks, and that's it. So, but hey, they're not going to be shooting at me next turn, so that is super useful. So then we go into combat, and this one doesn't go terrible thanks to Rufus. His impact hits and his stomps really saved the day. My BSB and his BSB, I think I do 1 wound to his BSB, and that's about it. In return, he finishes off my last mercenary veteran. Doesn't do anything to Rufus. I think I win this combat, but he's still stubborn and stuff like that, so he sticks. But holy crap, do I have a problem. At least it's slightly starting to turn in my favor. Then we go into combat over here, and it goes exceptionally well, with the exception of for Lord Tremendous. Of course, my Great Khan and his general end up in a challenge, and I think I do a wound to his general. He does nothing to me, but in return, I decimate his unit. I take out a full rank plus 1. I think like 11 guys die, plus 1 for the general. I do 12 wounds. He's able to do a couple to the tribesman, maybe 4 to the tribesman. Does 2 to Tremendous because his armor apparently is made out of rubber bands and faith. But I win this combat. They're stubborn because of bodyguard, and they stick, but all in all, not terrible. Not nearly as bad as the Greybeard combat is going. Then we go over here, Cheapskate slips a wound through onto the Catapult, gets nothing done to him in return. I win, he's stubborn and could care less. But again, it's not shooting at me next turn, which I don't know if that helps him out with the way this thing's been misfiring more than it helps me, but either way, I'll take it. So here we are at top of 4 after movement, and honestly there's no movement whatsoever, with the exception of his engineer charging Cheapskate. He's just trying to save the Catapult. I can respect that. His handgunners rallied and then turned to face the Bombardiers and the Trappers, and that's it for movement, because everything else he has is in combat, or an Anvil of Power. There's a better picture of his engineer charging Cheapskate, and yes, he did take a wound from charging through the ruins, so I feel good about that. And of course, there's a better picture of his handgunners turning, facing, and rallying. Not necessarily in that order. Nothing really happens in magic or shooting, so we go straight into combat. Cheapskate tries to kill his engineer, does 1 wound to him. The engineer does like 3 to Cheapskate, no problem, and kills him dead. But you know what? Cheapskate really did his job, and for the points I paid for him, he was worth every last one. Okay, so combat over here, as you can see, goes pretty left field pretty fast. I don't remember exactly how many wounds are done to Rufus, but as you can see, I kill a decent amount of these guys. Rufus takes a little bit of damage. I don't remember exactly what happens, but I think I lose by 1. Rufus and my BSB break with re-rolls. Rufus gets run down. The BSB is able to get away. That sucks. Oh man, this game may have just gotten away from me here. Then we go over here into combat, and as you can see, I kill a lot of the Kingsguard again. Nothing happens in the challenge, we just do butterfly kisses to each other, and I lose another tribesman from Skaz's Spazzes. In return, I kill 3, 6, 7, 8, looks like 8 or 9 of his Kingsguard, but Lord Tremendous dies. I swear to God, he did 4 wounds, I only was able to save 2, needing 5s and 5s. Couldn't believe it, but what can you do? What can you do? And no, last turn he did not heal a wound from Headhunter. I rolled a 2, so damn it. So we go over here to bottom of 4, and I panic, and I charge a tribesman. And after that last combat, I shifted my Great Khan over so that he was just corner to corner with his with the king, the dwarf king, so that my good old boys could charge in there and try to salvage this game. The bombardiers move up just slightly so they can shoot at the handgunners again. The trappers stay exactly where they are because there's no reason to move them. And my BSB continues to flees through the dangerous terrain, takes another wound. Made 1, failed another. So I don't know what happened with this game, but I'm going to try to salvage it. I think I can. That's it for movement. There's a better picture of my BSB fleeing through the dangerous terrain, or the impassable terrain, which I thought was rude of him. And there's a better picture of the good old boys joining into this fight. During the magic phase, out of desperation, I get Savage Fury off on my good old boys. It gives me 4 extra attacks, but hey, it's 4 extra attacks. I'll take it. So we go into the shooting phase, and my trappers fire at the handgunners and kill like 5 of them. It's insane. Trappers are doing more damage with half the shots than the fucking bombardiers are doing. Why am I bringing bombardiers? My bombardiers do fire at the Dwarven Engineer and are able to slip the last couple of wounds through on him in order to kill him. So that's good, but they literally did just enough wounds to kill the guy, okay? It wasn't like they did a surplus of wounds like the trappers just did. They just did enough, literally two more wounds to kill off his engineer. Why am I taking bombardiers? I keep asking myself. I could take another unit of trappers and be just as happy. So we go into combat over here, and oh my goodness, as you can see, the good old boys took them to task. Nothing happens in the challenge. My Great Khan and his king, again, butterfly kisses and warm hugs. That's all that happened between those two. But my good old boys decimate. Impact hits, every single one wounded at strength 5. There was only 4, but every single one wounded and got through. And then in combat, these guys, oh my god, unadulterated slaughter. Just took out everything. Skaz and like 2 Spazzes got to fire back. Killed a little bit, but not much, and then stomps all of them at strength 4 wounded and got through. Holy crap, these guys were the saviors of the day. Gets his unit down to what, 2 Kingsguard and his king left. They make their break check because they're stubborn due to bodyguard and stick, but Skaz and his Spazzes are out of this combat now, and they turn to face his Greybeards because I know they're coming in, and I don't want them to hit me in the flank. And then we go over here to top of 5 after movement, and yes, his Greybeards try to charge Skaz and his Spazzes, and they flee. He redirects into the good old boys and fails to make the charge. He passes leadership to redirect, and then failed the charge. He rolled like 3 or something like that. It was very low, not enough to make it. So that bought me the time I need, hopefully, to at a minimum finish off the Kingsguard. That's huge. Meanwhile, his handgunner unit charges my trappers, and they stand and shoot and completely miss. I guess all that Hawkeye-type shooting a minute ago is gone. and that's it for movement. Everything else he has is a war machine or an anvil. There's a better picture of his handgun unit slamming into my trappers, and I believe that his catapult during shooting phase, because nothing happens in Magic, fires at my bombardiers, kills one, and does a wound to another one. It's not enough to cause the panic, but again, it makes me rethink taking bombardiers, which sucks. I really like those models. So then we go into combat, and yeah, his handgunners eviscerate all 6 of my trappers. Not one of them survive. And you know what? That's fair. Those guys aren't for combat, and they really did a good job this game. So I don't fault my opponent for taking that unit out. I get it. Over here in combat, however, I am able to finish off his Kingsguard and do a wound to his generals. So 3 wounds, rank, banner, till he does nothing to me. Nothing. I win by 5. His BSB is in range, but he fails to roll what he needs, which I think is a 5. Breaks, and my Great Khan and the tribesmen pursue, because, well, the tribesmen have to. They're frenzied, and I'm not going to pass up that opportunity with my general. And we catch him and run him down, and he dies. And at this point, my opponent looks at what he has left on the table compared to what I have left on the table, and that's it. That's the end of the game. He just says, you know what, your tribesmen are going to either charge my Greybeards, or I'm going to charge them. Your general's going to finish off my anvil or my catapult. Your bombardiers are going to shoot up my handgunners, finish them off. There's no point in playing this game anymore. It's over. You win. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. But so he calls it right here. Bottom of 5. The game's over, and I win. Yay! And yeah, that was a hell of a turnaround, if you ask me. Losing my Mercs and Rufus like that, and then being able to finish off his Kingsguard with Skaz leading the way and him surviving. Granted, he's fleeing, but the way we play it is once you surrender, everything on the table, you know, rallies instantly and stuff, and everything his dies. So it's just the way we play conceded games, stuff like that. And yeah, I am well aware that I left the music on for this because this is pretty flippin' epic, and I feel it deserves music. But you know what? We're going to get to the recap because this game is over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
So yes, this was a victory for Lord Tremendous. My opponent conceded at the bottom of turn 5, very beginning of it, however you want to see it. End of top, bottom, or beginning of the bottom, whatever. I ended up losing half of my BSB because he was fleeing at the end of the game. I lost Lord Tremendous. I lost my Trappers, Bow Wowzer, my Merc Vets, and Rufus. Oh, that one hurt. Poor Rufus. So first and foremost, I know I've said it before, Cheapskate did amazing in this game. Taking out the flame cannon, holding the, the catapult, doing a wound to the engineer, all for 0 points. God, that spell path is broken. I'm going to enjoy it until they change it. Having a Great Khan on the table is powerful, but I don't know if I need a Great Khan in the tribesman unit to do what I needed to do. I'm going to try it a little bit more and see what I think. Bombardiers are starting to get on my shit list again. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to keep them. And Lord Tremendous, he did well. I mean, he really did. He took out a lot of Kingsguard and everything like that, but he's only got a 3-up armor right now, and it's hurting my feelings a little bit. I might have to throw an Iron Fist on him somehow. I don't know. I might have to re-look at his kit and try to get a 2-up armor save on him again. It's a little hard to do now with not being able to take the Mithril Mail anymore. So, I don't know. We'll see. And of course, I do miss my Rock-a-Rock. He was a champion. He really was. But maybe by dropping the Bombardiers, I can put the Rock-a-Rock back in or something. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. We'll see. My Thunder Cannon, I thought, did well this game. It was able to put a couple of wounds on the Flame Cannon and plinked off a Vengeance Seeker before he could really do anything other than chaff me. I should have probably used him on that other guy earlier. I don't know what I was thinking. Might need to go Great Weapon on my BSB. Haven't decided yet, but I'm thinking I'm leaning that direction. It'll bring him up to a 3-up, 6-up, but I could really use the higher strength on him. Can't say this enough. Can't highlight this enough. The dwarves put up a hell of a fight. I had to throw so much in each one of those units. I did not have the coverage, and I lost my Merc Vets and Rufus because of it. And you know what? I can't fault my opponent for quitting when he did. I get it. I totally understand why he would do that, and I don't fault him for it. So don't you fault him for it either. You know, it was pretty much inevitable. And I think he wanted to go play another game. In fact, now that I think about it, I know he did because he had a D&D session to get to. So D&D waits for no man. This, however, was one hell of a game. Honestly, it was not one-sided at all. It kind of felt like it was turning against me pretty quick, and then the good old boys really kicked down the back door and let them know who the boss was, and I appreciate that. That's why they're the good old boys. This was a hell of an opponent, and I am definitely looking forward to our rematch. Real quick, guys and gals, I want to take this moment to say thank you to everybody that supports me financially through Patreon, PayPal, and other means. Really, really do appreciate it. Not everybody who does it allows me to thank them properly on my channel. They want to remain anonymous, and I will respect that. These are the individuals that support me and allow me to thank them properly, and therefore I'm going to do it. Alex of the Vale Renegades, South Florida's Gamermancy team, Daniel Jolson, and Caillou Choi. Thank you guys very, very much. I hope I continue to be worthy of your patronage. Let me know if I'm not. And to everybody else, thank you. And if you want to donate or support me in any way, shape, or form, Patreon is on my YouTube main channel. It's on the 9th Age forums. Or just shoot me an email. Everything's in my description. You should be able to figure it out. And again, thanks. And there you go. That's it. That's it for Battle Report number 46. It's officially in the history books. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. But yeah, guys, thanks.